Hi, my name is Tiago Duarte and welcome to another video tutorial here at Daily Beats. In today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about chords and notes, and I'm going to use the piano roll to show you how you can work with scales, chords and everything, and start making more complex music with a lot of variations and with scales in mind. And before we start with this tutorial, I would like to ask you to subscribe and activate the notifications so that you know when we upload new videos. And if you have any questions or suggestions, just leave a comment below. And if you want to support this channel, consider buying one of our products at dailybeats.pt or becoming a premium or exclusive member where you will have access to exclusive videos where I show more in-depth stuff about music production, and you will be able to also download the project files from these tutorials. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start making some notes and scales. So the first thing I'm going to do is to load a piano. Let's go to Packs, Instruments, Keyboard, and use Close Grand. This is just for a small reference so that we listen to sounds as we go and make and work with the scales. So here in the piano roll, as you can see, if you right click here on the instrument and you click piano roll, you will have access to piano roll. And if you see here, we have the notes, and here we have the velocity, and we can also change the velocity, the panning, the release, a lot of parameters, not a lot, but some parameters you can change here in this panel on the bottom of the piano roll. So now we have all these notes here, and let's say we don't have any kind of music theory, we never learned, so we are starting out, and this was a big problem for me when I was starting out. Today is more simple, but I still have some areas that I need to improve. But in the beginning, I was not aware of scales, I was not aware of chords. So I told in the last video where I talked about my history that I usually, back in the day, I used to make the drums and then I was stuck there. I couldn't move beyond making a drum pattern because I didn't have the music theory knowledge, let's say. So here it can be sometimes a little bit scary to try to come up with melodies, with chord progressions, with everything that sounds nice. And the idea of this tutorial is to show you a little bit how I do to overcome those obstacles. So as you can see here, we can have up to 12 notes, and then so these are 12 notes, as you can see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, and then we go to C again. So we start on C6 and we go until 6 7. So we don't use this one. So here we have a octave, so we can also do something like this. So each octave will have 12 notes, and they will repeat after how can I say, after one octave you have another 12 notes, then you have an octave higher, another 12 notes, another octave. So you can see that we have these 12 notes and then they repeat on different octaves, on different pitches. So as you can see here, I hope you can see in this video, we have, for instance, C6 here. It has a lighter color than C sharp and D6. Why? Because we have selected a C minor scale, and this will be something that I will show you how you can change. But the C minor scale is just these notes here. And as you can see, the notes are just with a lighter gray. As I think this is gray. So you can see here this one has a lighter color than this one here in the middle, and the same for this one. And if we play the notes, they sound nice together. And this is the basic of a scale. So we can do something like this. Okay, and now we have the scale. Now we know that whatever key or whatever note we put here inside of this scale, it will sound nice, or the notes will not be out of the scale, this scale. So I didn't make a melody here, so just for reference, just to give you an example. But there's also one thing here, is that you can make your own scales or use already defined scales. So let's say I want to add this one note here and this one here. There is already a scale like this, but you can see that we can do whatever we want here. We have the freedom to define our own scales, but the idea here is to first start with scales that are defined here inside of FL Studio, so you don't have to use this stuff here, and you can follow just the light gray areas and keys. So to change the scale, so we saw this one here is a C minor scale. And if we go here to this triangle and go to helpers, scale highlighting, we can see that we have the root note, C, and minor, and the scale here, minor pentatonic. We can also have minor melodic, and we can see. So from now, let me put here on a different area, and you can see that these notes are really different, or this one scale is different from the other one, and is also C minor. So you can have variations of the same, not the same, but the C minor. We can have pentatonic, melodic, wherever. And you can see now that, for instance, A sharp is on the dark gray here and not on the light gray. So this C sharp would be out of the scale regarding the C minor melodic. And of course, if we go up one, or if we go up or down, but what I want to say is that if we change the root note, so let's work with a minor pentatonic. Okay, let's delete this one. And as you can see here, the notes now follow the light gray areas. Let's go to helpers, scale highlighting, and let's now move this one to D. Instead of C, let's move to D. And now you will have a different kind of scale. The notes will be different. And you can see also that here the D6 is now gray compared to this white key or the other white keys. And this defines the root note. So from these ones here, D7 and D6, we have one octave. And this defines, now I know that this D is the root note. So if we go now and map out the melodic, the scales inside of the, or the notes inside of the scale, now we see that this is just a shift of the same notes, but one three or two semitones up, because it went from C, C sharp, and D. And if we play the notes now, they have the same tonality. The notes are different, but the harmonization is the same. Why? Because we are using the same keys or the same scale, but on different keys. And and this is a nice rhythm also, but that's not what I want to show you. Now, of course, now that you know you can change the root note, the scale, let's try maybe a minor. Let's go to C again, and instead of using a minor pentatonic, let's use major pentatonic. And you can see that the notes already are different here. And this one here, you can see the notes do not overlap. And if we listen, now the notes sound really different. Even if I change this one to D, they sound different because they are on a major and minor scale. So this one is minor and this one is major. Okay, so of course we have other kind of scales. We can just have major instead of having a major pentatonic, and in this case it's just the white keys. Here, these are the white keys. This is the scale of C major. And these are the difference. So now that you know how to make or what scales you are in, of course you can have fun and go ahead and start having fun with other scales. One that I like to show you is this one here, Other Blues. And this scale is really nice because you can have, you see the way you go up. If you go up on the scale, so let's go with these 4 examples. So here we have C minor pentatonic, here we have C major pentatonic, here we have C major, and here we have C blues. And let's see the difference when we play all the notes, and you will see that sometimes the notes sound nice and they give us for instance, here in this blues you will hear that the sequence of notes reminds us of a blues type of scale. That's why it's called blues. So let's go ahead and see. So this is a minor scale, and this here is the major. And now we have the C major with all the white keys. Looks like we are in a piano class learning how to play piano. So we can go up. Looks like we are just learning piano because that's the easiest scale. It's just the white keys. And it's really nice when we are learning how to play piano just to get acquainted with the keys and the piano. And now we have the blues. You see that it has a different harmony associated to it. So it reminds us a different kind of music. And this is the power of scales. You can choose the right scale, and it will have an effect on the type of music you produce and the type of music you produce, basically. So if you want to do a more funky blues type of beat, you can choose whatever root note you want, but you will choose, or you can choose a blues scale. So let's say I have this one. If I want, I can just go ahead, for instance, and put it on D6, and it will have different notes, but it will sound the same. You see, the sequence is pretty much the same because it's a scale. You follow just the notes in a defined order. Doesn't matter what notes are you playing or where are you starting to play the notes. Just matter the intervals of each note. So these are scales, and inside of the scales you can do you can make melodies, you can make chord progressions, you can do a lot of stuff. So let's go ahead and use an example. Let's delete everything. Let's go here to the triangle, helpers, scale highlighting, C, and let's use minor pentatonic because it's a scale that I really like. Okay, so now what else can we do here? We have this button here, which is called stamp. And this button is very important if you are starting out your music theory progress. And if you click here, you will see a lot of stuff here. You can see that we have melodic chords, melodic scales, percussions, and special. I will not talk about percussions, but you have also here the melodic chords and the scales. If you don't want to change the scales here on the piano roll, what you can simply do is go here, minor pentatonic, select this one, and just click once here on the piano roll. And you see that it created the same sequence that I did previously. It created here in a grouped pattern. So if I move just one note, it will move everything. And you see if I click, it shows blue. And this is because it's grouped. You can group different notes, different MIDI information. So let's say I have this pattern. I can select it, go here to this triangle, group, and group, which is Shift G. So you can click on Shift G, and to ungroup, Alt G. So let's group it. And now if I hover it, you see that it changes its color. And now if I just click here, it will move everything. If I click here, it will move everything. And you can select everything. You can click on Alt and G. And now if you move one, it just moves one because they are not grouped anymore. So these ones here are grouped. So if you want to ungroup them, you have to select them, go here, group, ungroup, and now you can move whatever you want. And this goes for everything here inside of the stamp menu. So let's select everything, let's group it. And here you see that you can make the chords also. And you can also do, no, this is the scale, sorry. You can do the scale. So let's go ahead and try the blues scale. And as you can see, so this one, it's the same as we did before. So it's a different way. You can go with the helpers here, scale highlighting, or you can go with the stamps. And another thing that I want to show you, we just touched on scales. Now I want to touch on chords. And inside of each scale, you can have minor and major chords. So a minor chord, let's go with minor and major. Let's start, for instance, with major. And this is one thing that it may happen on some scales, is that whenever you put here a major scale, you see that this one here is not, the E does not belong to the C minor pentatonic scale. So this is a major chord and should be with helpers, scale highlighting, C major. This way now we have the correct chord. And if we play, it sounds like this. So this is a major chord. It's composed with 3 different chords, and in this case is separated by, so you can count it. You can do it like this. If you know the chords, you can just play them. Okay, so this should be okay. So let me move one root note up. So this is the major chord here. So if you know the chords already, it's a good way. If you do not know the chords, you can count them. And I saw this on Busy Work Beats channel, and this is have helped me a lot, so I will teach you how I learned from his channel. So if you go here, C6, you can start with this note as the as 0, and you will have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And it's very simple. To create a major chord, you just do this. You put a MIDI note on 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a major chord is 0, 4, 7. 0, 4, 7. For a minor chord, we can go here with a minor. Let's go ahead and create a new one. You can see that the only difference is these two notes here in the middle. And instead of being 0, 4, 7, now we have 0, 3, 7. And they sound different, so let's listen. The major one sounds more happy, more joyful, and this one here sounds a little bit more sad, more dark. So these are the basics of chords, and of course you can go ahead and do whatever chord you want. For instance, here now we are in the scale, so this is C major scale, and as you can see it's just the white notes here. And we now have a major chord and a minor chord. And this is what I was talking about. You can have major chords and minor chords inside of the same scale. In this case is a major scale. So let's listen. And they sound really nice because they are in the same scale. And you can also go ahead and start making, for instance, another copy the first note and copy the second one, and we'll have the progression moving up, and we have 1 and 2 major scales and 1 and 2 minor scales inside of a major scale, which is C major. And it sounds nice, and it's not really hard to do because it's just copying and pasting notes, or in this case chords. So if you go here to stamp, you see that we have a lot more other types of chords. For instance, here the major 7th. Let's go here, and the major 7, the special thing about this one is that it includes 0, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the basic composition of a major chord in this case is 0, 3, 0, 4, 7, and 11. You just have to count. So let's say I don't have any chord here. I want to build a major 7th chord. So what I do is just start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now if I go here to stamp and select the major 7th, now we have the same chord. And this is the power of using math to make notes. And the same is valid for a minor chord. For a minor, I told you that, for instance, we start with 0 instead of being 0, 4, 7. For a minor is 0, 3, 7. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is a minor chord, sorry. And for a minor 7th, you have to add another chord, but in this case, instead of being 11, it's just 10. So this is 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is basically a minor 7th. So we can select this one here, minor 7, and you see that they are the same. And of course, you can go ahead and do a minor 9th, an octave, a suspended 4, a fifth. Sorry. You can go ahead and as you can see, we have very advanced stamps here, and it's a really nice way for you to start learning the chords and start getting a little bit more acquainted with music theory. And we can play. And this key here, the major seventh and minor seventh, is a very jazzy chord. So let's see, let me move down one octave. You can see it's very jazzy. So if I take this out, especially with synths. So let's see, let's open up here, for instance, 3x oscillator. Let's make here a lead, maybe like this, and I want a saw. Let's try something like this. Of course, this will be too high, so what I'm going to do is lower the volume. So one thing we can do is add a little bit of no hold, decay to the maximum, sustain and release. Maybe we can do a little bit of decay and add a little bit of release. Maybe add the hold. Let me see, maybe a faster decay and a faster release. Or maybe we can play here with a hold. And as you can see here, this is a very jazzy, very jazzy chord. So if I take out these ones here, it's not that it does not remind us of lush chords. Okay, so I think for now this is the basic. Now you know how you can change your scale, highlighting, and you can use here the stamp to make scales and also chords. And yeah, I think this is it. The video is now at 27 minutes, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions regarding music theory and all that more theoretical music part, if you have any questions, just leave a comment below and I will answer, or at least try to answer with the best knowledge I have. And if you are new here to this channel, consider subscribing and activate the notifications so that you know when we upload new videos. And again, if you have any questions or suggestions, just leave a comment below. And if you like to support our channel, consider buying one of our products at dailybeats.pt or becoming a premium or exclusive member, where you will have access to more advanced videos and the project files from these tutorials. Today there is no project file because I just showed you a little bit of the technique and theoretical part of music production. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.